I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I would like to introduce myself. My name is Elva Gabriel. I always use the M because the Internal Revenue got after me years ago for not signing my name correctly. And it was a good lesson learned because I was able to teach my students that they should try to always sign their name the same. In case you're beginning to wonder, I am a retired teacher. I want to talk to you today about setting goals and reaching them, and how in our country and especially in our Bay Area and in the Hayward area, you are able to do that so easily. The San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge opened in 1936 and has remained a symbol of my historical roots in the Bay Area to me since I was born in Oakland, California in 1936. These two items may seem unrelated, except the fact is that my father worked on that bridge spinning cable, and I grew up hearing stories from my mother telling me of the dangers of working on the bridge. My mother would tell me what it meant to walk on a narrow, wet catwalk while the wind blew the structure back and forth. She told us these stories because my father, unfortunately, had died when I was 4 years old, and my brother was only 3. My mother, at age 35, faced starting another new life with 2 small children to raise. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Allow me a little time to tell you my family background and about its pioneer spirit. My mother, Maria Santos Teixeira, was born in San Miguel Islands, Azores in Portugal in 1905. In 1906, her father left his family, which consisted of a son, which was her brother, and her mother, and my mother, who was only 1 year old. He left them to come to the United States, and he traveled there to start a new life. On April 16th, 1908, my mother, my uncle, who was only 4 years old, and my mother followed him on a ship called the Republic. Their travel was far from luxurious. They were bunked 3 levels below the deck, and my grandmother never saw daylight because she was seasick the entire time. I was able to trace the ship through the Ellis Island records, and I found actually the manifest with my mother's name and her record, and I found exactly where they were going to go and how much money they had. My mother vividly remembered and retold the story of her mother being sick. And she told us the story of going on deck with her brother and a fellow passenger to see the lady as they approached Ellis Island. Their story of arrival pinned name tags with their name because they couldn't speak English, and traveling by train from New York to Oakland, California is not a unique story. but it is a tribute to pioneer spirit. This spirit and belief in having a dream and following it and molding your future was demonstrated by my mother throughout her life. She took great pride in trailblazing, and she told many stories of breaking with tradition and distancing herself from the old world culture. She was truly a flapper during her early years and never changed her determination to live life to the fullest. I did not realize that this pioneer spirit was a strong part of my heritage and how it would assist me in following my lifelong dreams also. As a young girl, I grew up in Oakland. I basically grew up in a small Portuguese community in Oakland called Jingletown, because the young men, supposedly, who worked in the cotton mills would jingle their coins in their pockets on Friday evening because it was payday. I graduated from Fremont High School, and although I had taken college prep courses throughout high school hoping to pursue my dream to be a teacher, I was told straight out by my parents that college was out of the question as far as they were concerned. I remember my mother saying, "College is not for women. They get married and have a family and stay at home, and all that money is wasted." My brother and I worked at various jobs all through our early ages, and I worked my last year in high school 4 hours a day as a student clerk in an elementary school. I attended school from 7:30 to 11:30 at Fremont, then traveled by bus to work from 12:30 to 4:30 every afternoon. It was a busy schedule, but I enjoyed the idea of doing something that was offering me skills. After graduation, as luck would have it, I was promoted to head secretary of that job. And I worked in various schools and offices over a period of 29 years, taking time off, of course, to enjoy my sons after they were born. I enjoyed my work, but I always felt I had not fully pursued my real dream, college and teaching. And during these years, I took many educational and art classes in the Hayward Adult Education and Chabot College. I found that access to those classes was much simpler in this area, and it became my second home. When my oldest son was graduating from high school, I offered him a college opportunity. He said, "I don't want to go to college, Mom. I want to work with boys' baseball teams and manage a bowling place." I answered, "Okay, if you don't want to go, I will." It was the end of the school year, and I started my college career. My husband and I had separated after 22 years of marriage. I was 39 years old, a single mother of 2 sons, age 18 and 12, and held a full-time job. But I was determined finally to pursue my dream to be a teacher, no matter what obstacles occurred. A new start meant a new life, and much like my mother and her family had done 70 years before, I relocated from the old country of Oakland to the new country, the Hayward area. I attended many local colleges where I could take the necessary courses with the least amount of expense, and I eventually entered the teaching profession. It was a challenge that lasted 7 years, but it was an exciting voyage into my new life. I also began teaching educators how to use computers at San Francisco State, Alameda County Office of Education here in Hayward, and Oakland teachers at the first computer workshops held in Oakland. One of my students at these workshops was Dr. David Bowick, superintendent of the Oakland schools. And he didn't know anything about computers either. When he asked me where I was teaching, I explained that I was one of his secretaries and I was finishing my credential studies. He responded, "I want to see you teaching in the classroom next school year." Once again, the pioneer spirit had surfaced and my belief in the motto, "Prepare yourself, and when a door of opportunity opens, you'll be ready to walk through it." And it had proved itself. During my 14 years of teaching at a high school level, I had some unique experiences. I taught Health Academy students how to use computers in the medical fields. I see these graduates all the time in our local places. I was one of 5 teachers who participated in the 1985 first student exchange program between Alameda County schools and the Soviet Union. The program eventually moved to other counties, and some of the scientists and doctors relocated here in the United States. I love teaching other teachers to use computers in the educational and home settings, and serving as a mentor teacher for teachers in the Oakland schools and other areas. 14 years of teaching is one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in life. The greatest pleasure is to meet a former student and see that he or she is using some of the skills that I helped him acquire. The greeting and enthusiasm is the bonus of teaching. And I want to remind them and myself always, set a goal. When that door opens, be ready to not only walk through it, rush through it. And there are many doors in Hayward that are open, and we only need to realize where they are and take advantage. Thank you.